The annual Wong family gala sparkled with fashion elite. Crystal chandeliers illuminated designer gowns while waiters carried champagne worth more than my monthly fabric budget. My sister Alexandra adjusted her Fashion Week VIP badge while Mom touched her Vogue contributor pin, a reminder of her status as fashion's most feared critic. I checked my phone briefly as another message from my production team lit up the screen. Tomorrow's launch would revolutionize sustainable fashion, but for now I continued quietly setting up the event space. "Still playing with your little sewing machine, Min?" Alexandra's voice carried across the room. I tucked my phone away, thinking of the revolutionary collection waiting in my studio. The designs are coming along well. Designs. Mom sighed, examining her manicure. "Darling, you had an editorial position waiting at Vogue. Your sister runs the most exclusive boutique chain in Manhattan. And you're, making clothes in your apartment?" "Actually, I'm developing a new approach to sustainable luxury," I corrected, watching the clock. 18 hours until the launch. Alexandra laughed, her diamond-studded watch catching the light. "Sustainable? Please. Real fashion happens in Paris and Milan. When was the last time you even attended Fashion Week?" "Last month, actually. Though they didn't know I was there studying manufacturing waste for my research." "As a guest," Alexandra pressed. "Not cleaning up after the shows." I checked my watch. The final collection had been completed at midnight. "Our work speaks for itself." "Of course it does, dear," Mom said with practiced condescension. "But you had such potential. Alexandra's boutiques have waiting lists 6 months long. At your age I was dressing celebrities. And you're still doing alterations in a converted garage." Dad adjusted his Italian silk tie. "The Wong name means something in fashion. 3 generations of industry leaders. And you're wasting it on whatever it is you're doing." "What we're doing is changing the industry," I replied quietly, thinking of the revolutionary materials we'd developed. "Changing?" Alexandra snorted. "My stores change fashion every season. Real designs, real customers, real influence. How many pieces have you even sold?" My phone buzzed, another message from the launch team. Everything was ready. "You know," Alexandra continued, examining her nails, "I need someone to manage stock at my newest location. Entry-level, of course, but at least it's legitimate fashion." "Thank you, but I'm satisfied with my current work." I glanced at the time. The announcement would break in exactly 2 hours. "Satisfied?" Mom's voice rose sharply. "Wongs aren't satisfied with mediocrity. We set trends. We make statements. We don't waste time on small-scale projects." The event coordinator approached nervously. "Ms. Wong, Vogue's editor-in-chief is asking for you." "Tell her I'll be there shortly," Mom waved dismissively. "We were just discussing Min's career choices." "Actually, ma'am, they're asking for Min Wong." The room fell silent. "There must be some mistake," Alexandra said quickly. "Min doesn't deal with Vogue. She makes clothes in a garage." I stood slowly, removing my event staff apron. "Actually, I deal with them quite frequently. Especially since our sustainable luxury line redefined high fashion." "Sustainable, what?" Mom's champagne glass trembled. The event screen suddenly came alive with breaking news. "Revolutionary fashion empire launches. Industry's youngest designer of the year." "While you were all focused on traditional luxury," I continued, gathering my things, "we were revolutionizing fashion. That little sewing machine you dismissed? It's now the most advanced sustainable design facility in the world." But you work in a garage," Alexandra whispered. "Yes, creating a collection that just changed fashion as we know it. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a launch to prepare for. Vogue is waiting." The launch venue hummed with anticipation 3 hours later. Front row seats that once hosted fashion royalty now held editors from every major magazine. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows I could see my family arriving, their faces still pale from the gala. "Ms. Wong." My creative director appeared with a tablet. "The collection metrics are final. Would you like to review them before the show?" I nodded, scanning the data. While they'd been chasing traditional luxury, we'd been quietly revolutionizing fashion. Every late night in our garage had advanced sustainable manufacturing beyond what they deemed possible. Dad entered first, his Italian silk tie suddenly looking dated. Alexandra followed, her boutique chain credentials seeming provincial against our global launch. Mom clutched her Vogue contributor pin, her influence in the fashion world about to undergo a seismic shift. "Let's begin," I announced, taking the podium, a position Mom had dominated for decades. "Today marks a new era in fashion." The screens behind me lit up with our sustainable luxury metrics. Dad's face tightened as he recognized manufacturing processes he'd dismissed as amateur work years ago. "Our launch isn't just another collection," I continued. "It's a complete reimagining of how luxury fashion is created." Alexandra shifted uncomfortably as my next slide showed sustainability stats. Traditional luxury versus our new methods. The numbers were unprecedented. "We've achieved zero waste with premium materials," I stated, watching my sister's fashion confidence crumble. "More importantly, every piece is both sustainable and accessible." Mom's perfectly manicured hands trembled. How many times had she bragged about Alexandra's exclusive boutiques? "Furthermore," I continued, "we're making our sustainable manufacturing process open source. Every designer, every brand anywhere in the world can adopt our methods." Dad touched his designer watch nervously. He knew what this meant. "This naturally changes the fashion landscape," I announced. "The traditional approach of wasteful luxury production is obsolete. We've democratized high fashion. But luxury has always," Alexandra started, "been exclusive and wasteful?" I finished. "That ends today. Our data shows better quality from our garage than all major fashion houses combined." The editors and the industry watching via livestream nodded in understanding. They'd seen the collection. "Questions?" I asked, knowing there would be many. Dad raised his hand slowly, his fashion authority visibly diminishing. "The manufacturing process is fully documented," I cut in. "Every technique, every material, every innovation verified by independent experts worldwide." Alexandra's face flushed. "You can't possibly have created this in a garage. You're just a designer who revolutionized sustainable luxury," I corrected. "The collection works, Alexandra. It works better than anything your exclusive boutiques have ever sold." Mom found her voice. "But the Wong fashion legacy will be stronger than ever," I assured her. "Just not in the way you imagined. Our legacy won't be measured in exclusivity, but in innovation-accessible luxury that doesn't destroy the planet." The presentation continued for another hour. I outlined the manufacturing process, the materials science, and the distribution strategy. With each detail, I watched my family's fashion worldview crumble. After the launch, Alexandra lingered, staring at the collection. "These pieces, they're really sustainable?" "Completely," I replied, adjusting a display. "That garage you mocked? It just changed fashion history. And my boutiques? We'll need to adapt," I said firmly. "Fashion isn't about exclusivity anymore, Alexandra. It's about responsible innovation." Dad approached next, straightening his tie. "Luxury brands have always led fashion. Luxury brands have led us to focus on exclusivity while ignoring sustainability," I corrected. "That ends now. We're still fashion leaders," he protested weakly. "And I'm still working in a garage," I reminded him. "One that just produced the biggest innovation since ready-to-wear. Interesting how that worked out, isn't it?" Mom tried one last time. "The fashion community is already adopting our methods," I finished. "Those designs you ridiculed? They've revolutionized luxury fashion. Every major brand is scrambling to follow our lead." The venue slowly emptied, leaving my family staring at the collection. Their exclusive fashion world had been upended by the daughter they dismissed as playing with a sewing machine. "The Paris Fashion Week opening show is next month," I announced, heading for the door. "Don't be late. Oh, and Alexandra, you might want to update your boutique's philosophy. The new one says, sustainable luxury for all. I'll have our manifesto sent to your office." 6 months later, I stood in my expanded design facility, no longer a garage, but a gleaming innovation center dedicated to sustainable luxury. The space that had once been mocked as amateur now housed the world's most innovative fashion teams, all focused on revolutionizing sustainable manufacturing. My phone buzzed, Another message from Alexandra, her 10th this week. Like the others, it could wait. Family dynamics had become secondary to transforming global fashion. Ms. Wang, my innovation director, appeared on the smart glass. The global impact data is in. Fashion waste has dropped 85% in participating brands. I nodded, reviewing the holographic statistics floating before me. Traditional luxury houses were rapidly becoming obsolete. The Garage project had proven what I'd known all along: true luxury could be both sustainable and accessible. Also, she added, your sister's boutique chain requested another meeting about our materials. Of course they did. Since the launch, Alexandra had been desperately trying to align her stores with our philosophy. Her exclusive boutiques now seemed dated compared to our innovative approach. Schedule them for next month, I decided, after we announced the biodegradable luxury fiber. The door opened, admitting Mom in her newly acquired sustainable fashion consultant outfit. Min, darling, these results are extraordinary. Just the beginning, I replied, manipulating a 3D model of our next innovation. Wait until you see what's coming. She watched the design teams below, working seamlessly with our revolutionary materials. We never understood, did we? What you were building here. No, I agreed, marking another milestone in sustainable production. You were too focused on exclusivity to see the future of fashion. Your sister. Mom hesitated. Alexandra's boutiques are struggling to stay relevant. Change is difficult, I acknowledged, especially when you've built your brand on an outdated model. But she's welcome to join our innovation program. The intercom pulsed. Ms. Wang, the Global Fashion Summit is ready for your keynote. In the auditorium, my family sat among industry leaders and sustainability pioneers. Alexandra looked uncomfortable in her visitor's badge, a far cry from her former VIP credentials. Dad kept adjusting his tie, still processing how his garage designer daughter had transformed modern fashion. Let's begin, I said, turning on the hologram. Topic: Democratizing sustainable luxury. Data filled the room, proof of our success worldwide. Old-fashioned hierarchies held us back, I explained. By choosing sustainability over exclusivity, we achieved what luxury brands never could. Alexandra stopped writing, her boutiques looking small now. Dad's hands shook as numbers revealed how harmful old methods were. Next quarter, I said, we launch the Global Fashion Initiative. Free access to our process for any brand ready to change. Mom's calm cracked. She had once mocked my simple work. Questions? I asked. Silence until Alexandra raised her hand. Yes, Ms. Wang. Your process, could you teach me? I want to learn. I saw real curiosity in her eyes. Of course. Innovators share, collaborate, and change industries. My team smiled at the irony. After the summit, Dad lingered. Min, your work is greater than our family's entire legacy. That's why it's open source, I said. Fashion isn't exclusivity, it's impact. That evening, I watched designers in my office working on our next idea. Our garage had become a hub of sustainable innovation. My phone lit up. Wang Protocol transforms global fashion. I smiled, remembering Alexandra's sneer. Playing with a sewing machine. We had changed everything. Sustainable production, accessible luxury, new standards. The garage experiments had grown into a movement. Fashion had entered a new era of responsibility.